Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy KCM What Ifs. Today we are gonna be reading the Sharingan Devil, or what if Naruto had the Sharingan and was a captain of the ANBU. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Naruto's eyes went wide, as he recognized the identity of the person in front of him. It seemed that Danzo had finally unleashed his secret weapon, the only one who was capable of stopping Naruto. Rei Uchiha, the clone daughter of Naruto, was looking at him with hatred. Her fully matured Sharingan was looking at him murderously. Naruto's head dropped in shame. He couldn't look Rei in the eyes. He was the reason she ended up like this. Only if he had searched harder, only if he had been a lot more cautious, then this wouldn't have happened. But now, everything has changed. It was all in the past now. Naruto knew no matter how guilty he felt, he could never erase the past. If it was possible, then he would have altered a lot of things. The only thing he could do now was change the future. Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He would not let his personal feelings get in the way of his mission. He had to stop and subdue Rei quickly, and take out the remaining root ANBU too. Sai's life depended on how fast he could finish it up. I just hope that genjutsu holds, thought Naruto worriedly. Naruto quickly got up and removed some dust from his now torn-out ANBU uniform. He was still taking deep breaths, in order to calm himself down. He looked around and saw Rei was standing in front of him. Behind her was a force of 150 remaining root ANBU. It seemed the enemy had an advantage, as they had a hostage and were using her as a shield, and had great numbers too. Kurama, I cannot focus on my battle with Rei, if they keep interfering. I have lots of chakra left, and if she is truly my daughter then she would give me a tough fight. Let's even the odds, said Naruto calmly. Kurama was quite surprised that Naruto had gotten a hold on his emotions so quickly, but then again he was an ANBU captain. Are you sure? You did say that you wouldn't hurt Rei, said Kurama doubtfully. Yes, I will not kill her, but I may have to subdue her a little roughly, but before that I need to test her strength, said Naruto seriously. So, you want to test the enemy's strength, before implementing your strategy. You do have a good sense of battle, said Kurama with a smirk. Naruto used his sensor ability. It seemed as if the root ANBU were low on chakra, and probably wouldn't last long. And it seemed the root ANBU knew they could not win against him, and were not attacking him. But still fighting them, along with Rei, is going to be a bitch. Looks like I'll have to use my signature move, thought Naruto seriously. But before that, there was something he wanted to know. He looked at his daughter. Her Ki was good but not enough to make him sweat, but the glare she was giving him was murderous. It was as if Naruto had done something bad to her. Who are you? Asked Naruto patiently. He wanted to know everything about her. It seemed to anger Rei more, as her Ki increased. You bastard, you dare ask me, after what you did, said Rei furiously. Naruto was quite surprised by this. What had he done to her? You butchered so many of our comrades, you are a traitor, a monster, said Rei accusingly. Naruto's heart broke when he heard his daughter calling him a monster. For years, he was considered a monster by the villagers, and now even his own blood considered him the same. It seemed that this was his fate. What a sad life. I did, so what? Asked Naruto coldly. His Sharingan eyes gave a murderous look to Rei. How could you, Captain? I looked up to you. Danzo-sama told me so many things about you, but now you did all this, said Rei sadly with tears in her eyes. What did that bastard tell her? Thought Naruto curiously. You want to know why I did it? There is no point in telling you. It won't change anything. Tell me, how much can you see with those Sharingan of yours? Asked Naruto mysteriously. He wanted to know what were her ambitions. What would she do now? I see you dead, Captain, said Rei confidently. Naruto chuckled a bit on hearing that. His daughter sure had a lot of confidence and guts. To stand before an ANBU captain, who had just butchered so many ANBU alone, and still having the guts to kill your enemy. She is your daughter, all right, said Kurama firmly. You see me dead, huh? Well then make it a reality, said Naruto coldly. Rei's eyes hardened on hearing that, and she unsheathed her weapon. It was a very small tanto, but it had a very sharp blade, one that was more than enough to efficiently slice a man's throat. Uchiha no Hanran, Shinku Enka, Uchiha Rebellion, Crimson Flame Flower. Naruto was quite shocked when Rei jumped in the air, and swung her tanto swiftly, and several blades of fire rushed at Naruto at frightening speed. He quickly channeled chakra into his feet, and with great speed started dodging each and every blade of fire. A new genjutsu style, combined with fire chakra. It seems Danzo did manage to copy our clan's techniques, before they were sealed, thought Naruto in amazement. Rei continued to send several attacks towards Naruto, but he was dodging every attack. Her opponent sure had a lot of speed, but that was to be expected from an ANBU captain. Attack him, yelled Rei loudly. On hearing her voice, immediately the root ANBU charged towards Naruto but were quite surprised when 4 shadow clones surrounded Naruto and Rei from all sides. What is he doing? Thought Fu worriedly. Toryun's eyes widened when he saw all the clones perform a quick set of hand seals. The speed at which they were performing the hand seals made it impossible for the human eye to see what they were doing. But he didn't want to take any chances. They might be preparing an attack. Toryun quickly performed his own hand seals. Doton Doryuhiki, Earth Release, Mud Wall Jutsu. A huge earth wall appeared in front of the root ANBU. What are you doing? Asked Fu strictly. He might be performing another fire attack, we cannot afford any more casualties, said Toryun seriously. Got it, said Fu in an understanding tone. Both of them were quite shocked and they heard a shout across the wall. Shishinjin, for Violet Flames Formation. Toryun immediately dropped the earth wall, and everyone was shocked and they saw a purple barrier had surrounded Naruto and Rei from all sides. Attack now, before he harms the girl, said Fu alarmingly. On hearing Fu's orders, 20 ANBU immediately jumped towards the violet wall, and what happened next shocked everyone, well except Naruto who had a calm look on his face. All the 20 ANBU that came in contact with the strange purple wall were burned to ashes. The effect was instantaneous, they didn't even get to scream before they were burned to nothing. Rei stared in horror, as 20 more of her comrades got killed in an instant. You, screamed Rei angrily, she immediately performed her attack. Naruto's veteran eyes realized which attack she was going to perform, so he copied her attack with the same speed. Katan, Goryuka no Jutsu, Fire Release, Great Dragon Fire Technique. Katan, Goryuka no Jutsu, Fire Release, Great Dragon Fire Technique. Both Naruto and Rei blasted a large amount of fire chakra that took the form of a dragon. Both the fire dragons quickly collided with each other, the explosion that followed was quite huge, and smoke covered the entire area, as both the attacks cancelled each other out. Rei emerged from the smoke, and with unbelievable speed rushed towards Naruto, her Sharingan eyes bore into his Sharingan. With tremendous speed, she sliced her tanto clean across Naruto's chest. It's over, Captain, said Rei coldly. But when she looked back she was quite shocked when Naruto disappeared in a flock of crows. Shit, thought Rei urgently. She brought her tanto forward quickly, and she was just barely able to block Naruto's sword with her tanto. If she had been a second late, she would have been dead. You held back, didn't you? Asked Kurama with a smirk. Naruto didn't answer his partner, because he was busy looking at the shocked face of his daughter. Words couldn't describe how proud he felt of Rei, she was far stronger than he had imagined. She was so young, yet she was much stronger than what he was at her age. For a rookie, you are quite strong. You're a fire-style specialist, master of my clan's genjutsu, and have a fully matured Sharingan. Pretty impressive for someone of your age, said Naruto proudly. You don't know anything about me, said Rei frustratingly, and tried to push Naruto back. But it seemed he was physically stronger than her, because he wasn't even moving an inch. But you have a quick temper, said Naruto playfully. He then brought his left hand forward. Rei wanted to stop his hand, but both of her hands were busy holding her tanto, in order to block the sword that Naruto was holding in his right hand. But what happened next shocked Rei. Naruto poked her forehead with his finger gently. "I'm proud of you," said Naruto with a true smile. Rei's eyes widened when she heard that. She looked closely, but Naruto was not giving her a fake smile. The expression on his face, and the look in his eyes was genuine. She immediately back-flipped away, and landed a few meters away from him. But still it shocked her, when Naruto stood in front of her with the same gentle look on his face. Why is he saying this? What am I to him? Thought Rei curiously. She was not a fool. She knew if Naruto could kill so many ANBU on his own, then defeating her would not be so hard. Even though she was a prodigy, she knew he was far more stronger than her. Meanwhile Kurama was curious. What was up with his container? "Naruto, did anything happen?" asked Kurama curiously. "I know all about her now. Her eyes told me everything I needed to know. Maybe my worthless life wasn't so bad. When I look at her, I just know that living this long was worth it. I don't know how to say this. When I looked at her with my Sharingan, I read her mind. All her memories, even though some things were rough, she grew up to be a far better person than me. I saw how she looked when she was a baby, her first steps, her first word was father," said Naruto emotionally. A few tears had already emerged in his eyes. Kurama felt happy for his friend. It had been a long time since he had seen Naruto truly happy. "I wish I had been there for her. When she talked, I wanted to take her to the park, watch her play, eat, dance, and live a beautiful life. But I failed her, just like every other person in my life. I am not worthy to be her father, but no matter what happens, I'll get her out of this hell. Even if it's the last thing I do," said Naruto with determination. "Then let's do this," said the Biju passionately. While Naruto was talking with his Biju, Rei was going through a lot of emotional turmoil. She didn't know what this feeling was. When she looked at Naruto, she felt warmth, she felt safe. All her life, she had heard about Naruto's achievements and service to Root. He was a legend in the Root forces. Even Danzo-sama had told him that he was a powerful shinobi. He was respected by everyone. Danzo had taught her how to become a true shinobi, but whenever she heard something about Naruto, she felt eager and excited. She had lived a secluded life. From the moment she was born, she was raised in a base. There were very few people that lived with her. Many of them used to train her. Danzo-sama had made sure that she would become a powerful shinobi. She still remembered the day when Danzo had told her about Naruto. Flashback, 2 years ago. Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu. A little girl with blonde hair was standing in a small room. She was wearing a small black t-shirt and white shorts. Her hair was tied up in a small ponytail. There were a few burn marks on her cheeks, but she ignored the pain and performed a set of hand seals slowly. Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu. The blonde girl blew a small fireball from her mouth. She maintained the fireball for a few seconds, but ultimately it vanished. She collapsed on her knees, and was panting heavily. "You are still far from perfect, Rei-chan," said an old man stoically. Rei looked at her teacher and caretaker. He had one of his eyes covered with bandages, while he wore gray robes. He was none other than Danzo Shimura. "I'll do it, Danzo-sama, I need more time," said Rei tiredly. Ever since she was little, Danzo had taken care of her. The people that lived with her had told her that they were all orphans like her, and Danzo had taken them in and took care of them. But what she didn't know was that all of them were Root ANBU, who were watching her and deceiving her on Danzo's orders. "Rei-chan, you should work harder. You want to protect me, right?" asked Danzo deviously. Children were so easy to deceive. They could be molded in just the way he wanted. He would make sure that his investment won't be in waste. He had invested a fortune in making Rei, and had to give some classified information to Orochimaru in return for his services. He knew, He had to make sure Rei became a true shinobi, because as soon as he became Hokage, he would use her and his army to wipe out Orochimaru. He would not afford to keep any loose ends. Naruto had been acting a little strangely, and Danzo never trusted the boy. He was too unpredictable, and Danzo did not want anyone to interrupt his plans. That was the sole reason he made the deal with Orochimaru and created Rei. Naruto never knew that during his training in Root, he had secretly taken samples of his blood and DNA, and had preserved it. "Hey, Danzo-sama, who is the strongest person, you know?" asked Rei curiously. Danzo looked at the child, for a brief moment. Her curiosity was genuine. He decided there was no harm in telling her something. "There is a soldier who is protecting me. He is one of the strongest person I have ever trained, his skills are very great," said Danzo stoically. "What is his name? Can you tell me please?" asked Rei in an excited tone. Danzo frowned a little. The girl still had a long way to go. But he would make sure his secret weapon would be even more loyal to him than Naruto. "His name is Naruto Uchiha, he is a captain in Root, of which you know I'm the leader. We are sworn to protect Konoha at all costs. Naruto is a shinobi who has excelled in every ninja arts," said Danzo neutrally. There was no doubt that Naruto was an exceptional shinobi, but he was not emotionally stable. Maybe it was because of the trauma he had suffered when he was a child. The day before Kakashi adopted him, he had been attacked. Before that day, Naruto was a cheerful kid, but after that incident, he lost his innocence. He became more serious. Though he still acted a little childishly, a part of his soul had died. But before things could go down, Hiruzen had made the boy loyal to his ideals and the village. This was one of the traits Danzo had seen in many of the Uchiha. They were very depressed people, the prime examples being Naruto and Itachi. If one could say they were twins, however, Danzo was sure, Naruto was not a true shinobi like Itachi. He lacked the resolve to kill the ones closest to him, and Rei would be his biggest weakness, should he revolt. "Really?" asked Rei surprisingly. "Yes, he is strong, but he is evil," said Danzo deviously. Rei was shocked to hear this. How could such a brave man be evil? "What are you saying?" asked a shocked Rei. "Naruto has a very dark past. He was not treated properly by the villagers. As a result, he changed. He is still loyal, but there is something very dark inside him. I am scared he will try to hurt you, and all our comrades. I will protect you, even if he kills me," said Danzo, very innocently. The little girl had tears in her eyes. Her Danzo-sama loved her so much. "I will get stronger, and I will protect you from all enemies, and if this captain tries to harm you, I shall kill him," said Rei passionately. "I'm proud of you," said Danzo and patted the little girl on the head. He would never fail. He would make sure Konoha ruled the shinobi world. He was the savior of this world. Flashback end. Rei looked at the man in front of her. She knew he had a bad life, but she could not allow this massacre to continue any further. But still, her entire life, she dreamt of surpassing him, a man she never met. But now, when she had finally met him, she realized what Danzo had said was the truth. But why were her hands shaking? Why was she not able to bring herself to kill him? His gentle eyes, his smile, his face. She felt safe, she felt wanted, but when she looked at his blood-soaked sword, her illusion broke. "Captain Naruto, I know whatever happened with you was not right, but you have to stop," said Rei pleadingly. Naruto's heart melted when he heard his daughter's innocent words. He just wanted all of this to stop, but for the greater good, for her sake, he would have to do this. "I am afraid it is too late for that, Rei-chan," said Naruto sadly. "I wanted to surpass you all my life. I wanted to become stronger than you, so I could protect my comrades and Danzo-sama. You were a hero to me. Please don't let yourself be consumed by darkness," said Rei with tears in her eyes. She didn't know why, but her heart felt something for this man. "There is only one way to stop me, Rei-chan," said Naruto firmly. What is it that will make you stop this madness? Asked Ray quickly. Naruto's eyes hardened and his Sharingan flashed dangerously. Kill me. Ray took a step back in fear as she heard the demonic voice of Naruto. Her hands were shaking, her body was trembling from his presence. I can't do it, I cannot kill you, said Ray hesitantly. Then I will kill you, said Naruto firmly. He then immediately took out a large number of shuriken and threw them at Ray quickly. Suddenly a couple of seals appeared on both of Ray's hands, and much to Naruto's surprise, she quickly took out many shuriken of her own. The sounds of metal clashing with each other could be heard in the entire corridor. Naruto and Ray seemed to be at par, both were attacking as well as deflecting at the same time. Naruto had the advantage of experience, while Ray's matured Sharingan was helping her a lot. The clash continued for a few moments, until Naruto shunshin in the air, and performed hand seals with unimaginable speed. Katan, Hozenka, Fire Release, Phoenix Sage Fire Technique. Naruto blew a couple of medium fireballs from his mouth, and in an instant threw a couple of shurikens in the fireballs. Ray's eyes widened in shock when she saw the attack coming towards her, and she made her defensive attack. Doton Doryuhiki, Earth Release, Mud Wall Jutsu. A small earth wall immediately formed in front of Ray, and protected her as the fireballs combined with the shuriken, destroyed the entire frontal portion of the wall. So she has an earth affinity too, interesting, thought Naruto curiously. In order to take things up a notch, he decided to break Ray's defense, and earth-style ninjutsu were weaker against water. He performed a set of hand seals quickly, and released a large amount of water from his mouth. Suetun, Mizurappa, Water Style, Violent Water Wave. A large wave of water rushed from Naruto's mouth, it clashed with the last remnant of Ray's earth wall and destroyed it entirely. But Kurama was quite shocked when Naruto's entire body was wrapped in chakra chains that had risen from the ground. What is this? Asked Naruto urgently. Despite all his efforts, the chains were holding him very tightly, they were draining his chakra, and he suddenly started feeling tired. Naruto, it looks like she has chakra chains that your mother used to keep me at bay. You must hurry warned Kurama but was cut off. Both Naruto and Kurama's conversation was cut short, when the ground started shaking, the walls started cracking. The entire base was rocked with violent tremors, and sounds of something erupting could be heard from the front. Her chakra is so powerful, she is amazing, thought Naruto in awe. But that astonishment soon turned into shock, when he saw Ray standing at a distance giving him a sad look. So you are not going to back down? I cannot let you harm Danzo-sama, forgive me, Naruto Taishu, said Ray sadly. Screamed Naruto in pain, as the chains started crushing his body. This is the end of your suffering, Naruto Taishu, yelled Ray firmly. She then clasped her hands together and gave a loud battle cry. Kurama's eyes bulged out of his sockets, while Naruto couldn't believe what he was seeing, the thing in front of him. Mokuton Hijitsu, Jukai Koten, would release secret technique, nativity of a world of trees. Sai and Danzo stood a few meters away from each other, the entire corridor was badly damaged due to their fighting. Sai was panting heavily, his chakra was depleting very quickly, and Danzo was not showing any signs of defeat yet. He knew he had to keep Danzo engaged, because if he failed, then Danzo would activate the curse seal, and Naruto would be on the verge of death. No, he wouldn't let that happen. Sai calculated all the odds, at the very best, he would be able to hold Danzo for another few minutes, after that he was done for. But still that did not change anything, he was a shinobi, and they were meant to die in battle. He saw Danzo performing a couple of hand seals, and his danger senses kicked off. Sai performed his own set of hand seals quickly, in order to defend himself. Futon, Shinkaha, Wind Release, Vacuum Wave. Danzo released a powerful blast of wind from its mouth, Sai couldn't see the attack but he could feel the force with which the jutsu was approaching his position. He was just able to complete his last hand seal at the last moment. Doton, Dora Domu no Jutsu. Earth Element, Earth Dome Prison Technique. A large earth wall erupted from the ground, and entrapped Sai totally in the prison of dirt. The wind attack collided with Sai's earth dome, and with great speed cut clean through it. However, Sai was fortunate that it missed him just by an inch, or else he was dead. He looked up and saw the entire top portion of his dome was nowhere to be seen. If he had been a little taller, then his head would surely be lying on the ground by now. Fuck, that was close, thought Sai worriedly. Danzo jumped high in the air, and threw a couple of shuriken towards Sai, and made a couple of hand seals. Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. The few shuriken now multiplied into 50 more shuriken and were heading toward Sai, at high speed. For an instant Sai and Danzo's eyes met, and Danzo saw the shock evident on the young boy's face. It was all over for him. The shuriken attack completely nailed each and every part of Suddy's body. Danzo closed his eyes, the fight was over. Looking for someone, said a voice behind Danzo. Danzo quickly brought his kunai in his hand, and at the last moment turned around and blocked a tanto strike that would have sliced his head off. He was shocked to see it was none other than Sai himself. He looked towards the position where he had previously seen the boy getting impaled by his shuriken attack, and was shocked to see there was nothing more than a broken earth dome there. Too late, said Sai with a smirk. He then gave a hard kick on Danzo's chest. Now the unique thing was, he had put some chakra in it, and as a result Danzo was sent sailing in the air, and he crashed in the wall with a loud bang. Sai landed roughly on the ground, his breathing was a little rough, he still couldn't believe that he was alive. But some things were starting to make more sense to him now. I have given you some of my power, it will help you in your fight against Danzo, be careful. Sai still remembered Naruto's words, so this was what his friend meant. He was grateful to Naruto. If not for him, then Danzo would have surely finished him off. Meanwhile Danzo slowly got out of the now destroyed wall. He still was unable to understand what had happened. Before launching his shuriken attack, he had looked at the boy, he had seen the look in his eyes. Sai knew he was done for, Danzo knew he was done for, he even saw his attack pierce all of Sai's vital organs. What the hell was going on? He had to find out what tricks the boy was trying to play. He had not seen Sai perform any hand seals to do a genjutsu or substitution, there was no time left for him to do that. Danzo had trained the boy, he knew Sai excelled in fire and earth ninjutsu. His kenjutsu and fuinjutsu were his best weapons, but his genjutsu skills were average to say the least. Sai practically had no talent at all for genjutsu, and only knew how to break out of it. There was something fishy going on here. Danzo was interrupted from his thoughts, when he felt Sai's ki escalate. He looked at the boy, and saw him perform the hand seal for a fire-style attack. Katan Hozenka no Jutsu, Phoenix Sage Fire Technique. Sai sent several small fireballs towards Danzo at high speed. The ninjutsu attack was looking dangerous, but Danzo was already prepared for it. Danzo performed his last hand seal just as the fireballs were a few inches away from him. Doton Doryuhiki, Earth Release, Mud Wall Jutsu. Danzo stood calmly in his place, as a mud wall suddenly erupted in front of him, and shielded his entire body from the fireballs. He could hear numerous fireballs colliding with the wall. The attack was strong as a few cracks had already developed in the wall, but then Danzo heard a sound that immediately made him jump away from the wall. It was the sound of a kunai hitting the earth wall. Danzo had fought in 3 great wars and as a result he knew what that kunai was. An exploding kunai, thought Danzo tactically. Just as he finished his thought, the entire wall was smashed through pieces by a powerful blast. Some debris even hit Danzo, but were not enough to cause any significant damage. With great speed Sai emerged in front of Danzo, and sliced his tanto at the man's chest. However Danzo flipped in the air, and as result evaded the attack. Sai was quite shocked when Danzo gave a harsh kick to his face which sent him crashing towards the ground, but Naruto and Sai had trained for this fight, and as a result Sai gracefully landed on the ground. There was some blood coming out of his mouth though. Danzo looked at his former student and subordinate with a critical gaze. "Your skills seem to have greatly improved. It looks like you must have trained for quite some time to make yourself strong. But something doesn't feel right. What are you up to, boy?" asked Danzo neutrally. "Who knows, figure it out yourself, jackass," said Sai mysteriously. "There is something strange about him. I can feel some kind of power in him. I must find out what it is," thought Danzo tactically. He was a veteran of 3 great ninja wars, and in his long life he knew, even a Kage could be defeated by a weaker foe, if he made a single mistake. It was better to find out about the enemy's tactics before charging in battle. Danzo made a hand seal that surprised Sai as he realized what jutsu that was. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique. Immediately 5 shadow clones of Danzo appeared in front of him. Due to his experiment with Orochimaru's help, his power and chakra levels had greatly increased, and now he could use it effectively in this fight. All the clones performed a set of hand seals, while the original Danzo was clearly observing Sai from his right eye, that was hidden behind a set of bandages. Doton, Doryukatsu no Jutsu. Earth Element, Earth-style split technique. The clones slammed their hands on the ground in unison, which resulted in the earth to rise up and slip apart, as a chasm now raced toward Sai's position. Sai saw the danger he was in, and with great graceful movements started back flipping away from the quickly approaching chasm. He continued to put distance between himself and the chasm, but it continued chasing him. He put a hand in his pouch, and took out 3 exploding kunai. "These are the last ones, I must make it count," thought Sai firmly. He sent the exploding kunai straight towards the chasm. His hits were successful and managed to stick on the center of the chasm. Sai made the ram hand seal, and immediately the entire chasm was blown to pieces, leaving a lot of smoke and dust in the entire corridor. "I will have to deal with the clones myself. I must save my chakra in order to prolong this fight with Danzo. Using ink clones is out of the equation, shit," thought Sai with a frown. Sai suddenly brought his tanto forward and blocked a kunai strike from one of Danzo's clones that came out of the smoke. Sai then used his reflexes and gave a leg sweep to the clone's legs, making it lose balance, and before it could even hit the ground, Sai clearly cut him in half, which made the clone disappear in a puff of smoke. Sai was then thrown high in the air, as he received a sharp kick to his chin. However, he quickly grabbed his attacker's legs and reversed in the air. With great physical strength, he lifted the clone high in the air, and slammed it on the ground, and destroyed it completely. Another clone gave a roundhouse kick at Sai's chest, but it was blocked as Sai used both of his hands to shield himself. However, the clone of Danzo gave a leg sweep to Sai, and made him fall to the ground. Sai watched in shock, as the clone jumped high in the air and was about to give a crushing heel kick that would break his heart in a flash. At the last moment he was able to shift his position, but the kick still connected. The difference was that instead of his chest being hit, his left hand got hit. Screamed Sai in pain, as he felt his left hand get broken. But despite the pain, he locked the clone legs with his own, and with a sickening twist broke both of his legs, making the clone disappear. Sai weakly got up from the ground. His body was in pain. His left hand was twisted. With great courage he set his broken hand back into position with a grunt. It took a great effort from Sai not to scream and show any sign of weakness to his enemy. Suddenly another clone appeared in front of Sai, and attempted to send a right hook at Sai's face. Sai reacted instantly and got the clone's wrist with his right hand, and tried to give a kick with the help of his right knee, but the clone blocked it with his remaining hand. The real Danzo watched in amazement as Sai was standing firmly against his clones, and was giving a tough fight. The boy had gotten stronger. He had a lot of potential to become an ANBU captain. A shame, he would have to be killed tonight. Danzo watched closely as his clone and Sai sent a volley of kicks and punches at each other. The boy's left hand was completely broken and was now useless, but that was not stopping him from putting up a valiant fight. Danzo watched in shock as his clone tried to give a punch to Sai's face, but Sai ducked in an instant. In a flash, Sai attached something to the clone's chest and jumped away quickly. The clone suddenly shook violently as something glowed on his chest, and after a second it was blown to smoke. An exploding tag? No, it requires a hand seal to set off, I see. He created a seal that disturbed the clone's chakra network from the inside and made him unstable, which ultimately dispelled it. A great fuinjutsu technique, thought Danzo curiously. Pant, 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 where is the last one, thought Sai tiredly. He was losing strength with each passing moment, his left hand was gone for good, he was low on weapons and chakra, and his enemy was not showing any signs of defeat or retreat. Things were not looking good for him. However, he knew there was also the real Danzo. Forgetting about him would be a big mistake. As a result, he had set up a trap just in case he got cornered. Sai was utterly shocked when someone busted from beneath the ground of his feet. There was no time to react. He could see Danzo's clone ready to plunge his kunai straight inside his skull. Both of their eyes locked for a moment, and Sai again felt a little strain in his eyes. The clone was shocked when the Sai in front of him suddenly vanished. He was still in mid-air, when he heard a voice behind him. "This is the end," came Sai's voice from behind. In swift motion, Sai beheaded the clone with the kunai in his right hand, making it disappear in a puff of smoke. Sai collapsed on the ground. He was really tired now. The real Danzo understood the entire trick as he watched his clone getting destroyed. He had received the memory of each and every clone, and had analyzed his opponent's battle tactics, and the trump card he was using. The memory of the last clone, and the thing which he saw with his right eye, made him understand the entire mystery of Sai's power. He had to hand it to Naruto. Even though the man was a traitor, Danzo had never seen such a powerful and tactical ANBU captain in ages. It seemed Naruto had thought about everything that could happen in the battle, and had taken countermeasures to save his friend and give him more time to fight or escape from the battle. Naruto Uchiha, you really are a genius. You transferred chakra from your Sharingan eyes, and sealed it into Sai's eyes. Sharingan sends waves of chakra in order to hypnotize the opponent and catch him, and control him with genjutsu. You used your genjutsu and fuinjutsu abilities to set up a mechanism that would instantly place me in a genjutsu when I'm about to kill your friend. The effect is just for a moment, but it gives Sai enough time to escape from my lethal attack, or counterattack and kill me. I really wished you were not my enemy, thought Danzo with a frown. Danzo was quite shocked that Naruto's jutsu practically saved Sai every time he was about to die. What amazed Danzo was that in a way it was similar to his trump card, but the difference was Naruto's jutsu didn't cost Sai any damage, while his trump card was costly. But there was one big defect in Naruto's jutsu: it needed to have eye contact with the enemy in order to place his genjutsu for a few moments, allowing Sai time to escape or attack. And Danzo had found this weakness, and the way to overcome it. Danzo stepped forward, his enemy's tactics now known to him. It was time to end this fight. You have fought valiantly, but this is the end for you, said Danzo stoically. But he was intrigued when he saw a smirk form on Sia's face. Is it my end or yours? Asked Sai deviously. Danzo was shocked when he heard a voice mutter something from the shadows. Doton, Yomi Numa, swamp of the underworld. Danzo was shocked beyond words as the ground beneath him transformed into a sticky mud river. He slipped in it and was now covered in mud up to his neck. He saw an ink clone of Sai at a distance, hidden in the shadows. It had his hands pressed on the ground indicating it had performed the jutsu. I underestimated him. He hid an ink clone in order to catch me off guard, thought Danzo bitterly. He was disappointed as he got caught by a young ANBU. Danzo's eyes widened in shock as he saw Sai jump in the air, and heading towards him with his tanto in his right hand. He was coming at great speed, and his attack was going to slice Danzo's head off. This is the end for you, yelled Sai angrily. In one swift motion he sliced Danzo's head off, and crashed into the mud river. It's over, Naruto, we won. These were Sai's final thoughts, before his eyes widened in shock when he felt something cold pierce his chest. With Naruto. Naruto felt a chill run down his spine, he didn't know why, but he had a feeling that something bad must have happened. Sai, hang in there, prayed Naruto worriedly. He didn't want anything to happen to his friend. Naruto didn't know whether he would be able to go on further without Sai's support. Sai was his closest friend, and was the only reason he was able to stay sane en route. He didn't care about anything else, he just wanted to get Ray out of here and head off towards Sai's position. Naruto saw a couple of wooden tendrils and branches emerge from the ground, and rushed towards him. He saw Ray was trying her best to perform the jutsu, and he was shocked beyond words that she possessed Mokuton Kekkei Genkai of the Shodai Hokage. But still, her technique was not at all perfect, but if it hit him it could cause some serious damage. He couldn't use Kurama's chakra to heal his wounds, and that put him at a great disadvantage. Kurama, I am going to unleash my full power, said Naruto seriously. Are you serious? Asked Kurama in shock. If Naruto unleashed his true power, even Kurama doubted that he could defeat him. The boy was a monster. The only person who was more powerful than Naruto was Madara Uchiha, and a few of the Kage-level shinobi. But even that would change in a few years. Kurama, you have fought the Shodai Hokage, right? How strong is her jutsu? Asked Naruto quickly. He had slowly started gathering his chakra. He would have to do it on his own power, as using Kurama's power in this situation may harm Ray or his own body due to the curse seal of Danzo. It is nowhere near Hashirama's level, she has barely scratched the surface of wood style, but before things can get more dangerous, you need to end this fight, advised Kurama sagely. Got it, said Naruto sternly. The wooden branches were getting closer and only one thought was running through Naruto's mind. To think, you would go this far for Danzo. Thought Naruto sadly. Naruto clasped both of his hands together, and gathered a large amount of his own chakra. You shouldn't have made me do this, Ray, said Naruto angrily. A violent wave was sent throughout the entire base, even the root ANBU outside the barrier were blown off their feet due to the power of the wave. They looked inside the barrier and were shocked to see Naruto's entire body covered in a bluish-white chakra. He looked like a fallen angel from heaven. His blonde hair was flowing wildly in the air, and his 3-tomo Sharingan changed into a shuriken. Ray couldn't believe the power of her opponent, even Kurama was amazed. Out of all his containers, Naruto was the strongest and the most dangerous. The fact that he had 2 more trump cards up his sleeve was astonishing. Naruto's chakra was so powerful that it destroyed the entire roof of the base. The chakra chains of Ray melted like they were nothing, and freed Naruto. Ray couldn't believe her chakra chains got destroyed so easily and quickly. Her Mokuton attack collided with Naruto violently, causing a big explosion and a lot of smoke spread inside the barrier, as the debris flew in every direction. Pant, it's over, thought Ray tiredly. But her eyes widened in shock, as the smoke started to clear, and what she saw would forever be arched in her memory forever. Naruto's entire body was surrounded by a giant humanoid monster skeleton. It was covered in armor, and on top of that its entire body was covered in ice, that looked hard as steel. It was fucking huge too, and the power it was radiating was immense. What is this? Asked Ray fearfully. This is my final Susano, it is as powerful as a Biju, said Naruto seriously. But the most shocking thing about the Susano was that it had 2 large wings made of ice on its shoulders, and a sword in its right hand that was glowing magnificently. It is so beautiful, thought Ray in awe and amazement. Naruto opened his eyes, and Ray's shock further increased as they were now cerulean blue with shuriken in it. What are you? Asked Ray in awe. Naruto looked at his daughter kindly, his crystal blue eyes eased her tension, and all her stress. I'm an angel of the Lord, said Naruto calmly. Everyone's eyes further widened in shock, as the entire Susano lifted in the air, and was now standing in the sky. There was a surge of enormous power, Naruto's sword sparkled brightly and suddenly dark clouds formed in the sky. The clouds were so dark, that the entire moon got locked out of view. The only light in the corridor was that of Naruto's Susano, and its magnificent wings and its heavenly-looking sword. Rei totally believed she was seeing an angel of Kami-sama. Naruto was looking truly handsome and beautiful in this form. Naruto looked at Rei calmly, but his eyes hardened when he saw Root ANBU. It was time to end this. Waves of ice started forming around the sword of Naruto's Susano, and the words which Naruto said shocked everyone. Attack, Hyarinmaru. A few men were crouching on different spots on the ground. They had their hands placed on the ground, and were holding a purple-like barrier. These people were none other than the clones of the ANBU commander. The man couldn't believe what he was seeing. The entire moon was now covered by dark clouds, and the atmosphere had changed totally. Only he knew what horrible battle was going on in the base, and if the chakra that he felt was any indication, then the mission was just about to be completed. He had been ordered to form a barrier by the Hokage, so that no one can find out what was happening, while Naruto performs the mission. So here he was, witnessing one of the most terrifying nights of his life. This is going to end soon, thought the ANBU commander. Rei couldn't believe what she was seeing. Could a man even possess such power? She had to immediately jump away as several layers of ice were released from that sword. The speed of the attack was immense, as it destroyed all the remaining wooden pieces of her attack. She watched in shock, as the ice freezed the wood, to the point that the wood could not be seen anymore due to the fog inside the ice crystals. Tick, said Naruto calmly. Rei stared in horror, as the ice that had freezed her wood broke and destroyed the entire wood along with it. The only thing left of the wood were small dust particles that were flowing in the air in minute crystallized forms. My Mokuton, he destroyed all of it, thought Rei in fear. Danzo had told her Mokuton was so strong that it can subdue tailed beasts, but it seemed even it had a weakness. And that weakness was ice. If it came in contact with ice, then it affects its molecular structure and slowly it starts to rot, due to the water in the ice, and with such powerful ice attacks, she could not defeat Naruto with wood style. She felt outclassed. What had she trained for? She had a dream of surpassing Naruto. Was it really just an illusion? Was this man even a human at all? How? You should be dead. I ran the stimulation over and over again. How can you destroy my Mokuton like it was nothing? Asked Rei impatiently. Naruto smirked on hearing that. She was strong but still she had a long way to go. Susano. What is Susano? Asked Rei in confusion. In exchange for your life, Susano can turn imagination into reality. It is a forbidden jutsu of the Uchiha clan, which only a few have been able to achieve, said Naruto patiently. I don't understand. Said Rei with a frown. Only those who possess exceptional spiritual chakra can use this forbidden jutsu. Susano is the power granted to the Uchiha by the Sage of Six Paths, stated Naruto seriously. Sage of Six Paths? Asked Rei curiously. Was it the name of a god? The founder of the shinobi world, the man who taught humans how to use chakra, and the ancestor of the Uchiha and the Senju, said Naruto deviously. Impossible, said Rei in shock. Even the Root ANBU were shocked. There were only myths about the sage. Did Naruto really know the truth? Thousands of years ago, humanity was on the brink of extinction. A certain creature was destroying the entire world. The creature was the 10 Tails. Said Naruto mysteriously. 10 Tails? Are you out of your mind? Asked Fu in disbelief. Believe what you want, the Jubi was destroying the world, and in an effort to save humanity the Sage of Six Paths took some of the Jubi's power. This power was called chakra, and he mastered it, since the chakra was originally a part of the Jubi who was claimed to be as powerful as a god. The Sage of Six Paths received unbelievable power, one which was 1,000 times greater than my own, explained Naruto. Captain, this sounds too good to be true, said Rei firmly. History is forgotten as time passes, but there is a relic that showed me the truth, and the reality of this world, one which was written by the sage himself. Only those who possess visual prowess like mine can find out the entire truth. The sage was able to defeat the Jubi, but as it was an immortal creature he could not kill it, so he was left with only one option, suggested Naruto. He was hoping his daughter was smart enough to pick up the hint. He sealed it into himself, and became a Jinchuriki like you, said Ray thoughtfully. So he has told her about me being sealed in you, said Kurama bitterly. Naruto didn't reply, but that didn't mean he was not going to punish Danzo for this. Yes, but time passed and the sage's life was coming to an end, so in an effort to save the world from the Jubi, and with the help of his own visual powers he sealed the Jubi's body into a statue and hid it forever. He then divided its soul and chakra into 9 different parts. These 9 different beings will go on to become the 9-tailed beasts of this world. The jutsu used to create the tailed beasts out of the Jubi was called the creation of all things. It was based on the shadow and light styles. The shadow style was based upon mental energies that control imagination and create form out of nothing, while the light style was based upon physical energies that govern life and were used to instill life in these beasts. The Senju and Uchiha were originally one and the same. The Sage of 6 Paths was our ancestor, so while the Senju inherited the sage's physical power and body, the Uchiha inherited the sage's visual powers and spiritual chakra. Explained Naruto briefly. Everyone was quite shocked to hear this. They were listening to some of the darkest mysteries of the shinobi world. But what does it have to do with Susano? Asked Ray sharply. Susano emerges from the spiritual power of the Uchiha, however in order to take shape it uses the yang chakra i.e. physical power of the user too, said Naruto simply. But didn't you say, Uchiha got the spiritual power, while Senju got the physical power? Asked Ray in confusion. Yes, that is true, however every human whether they be Uchiha or Senju possess both Yin and Yang. Uchiha have strong Yin chakra, but they do have Yang chakra in their body too, though it is not as strong as the Senju. Similarly the Senju also possess Yin chakra, but not as strong as the Uchiha, said Naruto flatly. So how does Susano take your life? Asked Ray quickly. Susano consumes the Yin as well as Yang chakra of the body. Since Uchiha do not possess powerful Yang chakra like the Senju, the more they use Susano the weaker their Yang chakra becomes, until it vanishes, which creates an imbalance in the body which ultimately leads to the user's death. However there is one way to avoid this, said Naruto with a smirk. What is it? Asked Ray suspiciously. That is a story for another time, said Naruto with a smirk. Team, what is that sword, and how can this thing fly? Asked Ray angrily. She's quite hot-headed, but she is trying to buy time in order to gather her strength back, thought Naruto analytically. He didn't mind Ray's pitiful efforts. Soon everything would end, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. Every Susano possess heavenly powers, one which are totally dependent on the power of the user. This is one of my Susano's powers, Sharingan. The strongest ice sword in the world. It not only helps me control the weather but it also converts water into ice, as long as I have water or can convert water from the atmosphere. The power of this sword is unstoppable, explained Naruto in detail. But this Susano looks heavy, how can you make it fly? Asked Ray curiously. Sharingan decreases the weight of the Susano, allowing it more flexibility due to being less heavy. It also increases its swift movements, and produces strong ice that can handle the weight of Susano. Said Naruto simply. Who are you really? Asked Ray with a little fear in her voice. I am Uchiha Naruto, descendant of Uchiha Izuna, and I possess the power of both the Uchiha as well as the Senju, because the Uzumaki were relatives of the Senju, and fortunately for me and unfortunately for you, my mother was an Uzumaki. I am the second sage of 6 paths, said Naruto seriously. Ray gritted her teeth in anger. Could she really defeat him? Was it even possible? You team, with your power, you could have helped Danzo-sama bring peace to this world, but you destroyed everything, yelled Ray loudly. Naruto just glared at her murderously. This was something he would never accept. All of you believed in Danzo, because you wanted to find solace in your pathetic existence. That man is a demon, said Naruto angrily. Shut up, Danzo-sama is a good man, he cares about all of us, said Rei in protest. Did he make you kill your best friend? Asked Naruto sadly. Rei's eyes widened on hearing that this couldn't be true, her Danzo-sama would never do such a sin. Lies, 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 said Rei furiously. Each of us lives dependent and bound by our individual knowledge and our awareness, all that is what you call reality. But this world is full of lies, your reality might just be an illusion. Do you know what Danzo Shimura has done? Asked Naruto sharply. Stop it, don't listen to him, said Torian hurriedly. If she found out the truth, then they were done for. What do you know? Asked Rei doubtfully. Indeed, there were some things which she found doubtful about Danzo. The man did care for her, but on some occasions she had seen his eyes, and the devious look in them. He ran an illegal organization, in order to fulfill his own agenda. He abducted children from orphanages, and made them his ultimate killing machines. Each and every one of us is a killing machine. Do you know what the final test is in order to become a true root shinobi? Asked Naruto sadly. I don't know, Danzo-sa had said only the strong could become root, said Rei hesitantly. She doubted. She even wanted to call such a man by a high honorific anymore. She didn't want to believe this, but it seemed the truth. The people who stayed with her in the base were more like machines than people. They never talked with her, unless she asked a question, and would constantly watch her. The only thing she learned were ninja arts, and Danzo trained her personally. If Naruto was telling the truth, then her entire life was a lie. You have to kill your best friend, the one with whom you trained, laughed, shared your feelings. You have to kill him, and become a true root shinobi, said Naruto shamefully. That's horrible, said Rei in shock. She doubted she would ever be able to do such a thing. But then she realized something that made her eyes wide as saucers. She looked at everyone with a new fear and anger in her eyes. So all of you here killed your best friends? Asked Rei in disbelief. Yes, each and every one of us killed the one closest to us, said Naruto flatly. You all are monsters, how can you do such a sin? No. You are lying, Captain Naruto, yelled Rei angrily, her entire body was shaking. Let me show you, said Naruto darkly. Tsukiyomi. Rei felt herself being drawn in some alternate dimension. She now seemed to be standing in a white plane. What is this? Asked Rei out loud. My foolish little Rei-chan. Rei heard Naruto's voice. She turned around, but there was nobody. Suddenly everything around her turned black and she found herself standing in a village. She watched a small blonde boy being chased by mobs, and to her horror, he was caught and was getting beaten up. He looked no older than her. Then her eyes widened in shock when she saw those blue eyes. This is my story, came Naruto's voice. She watched how some old man and a few masked men saved the boy. From there she saw a man named Kakashi adopt Naruto. A small smile came on her face, as she watched Naruto and Kakashi's time together, their plays. Was this how a normal childhood felt? She saw Naruto's interactions with his friends, their laughter, and all the warm feelings made her want to experience them too. But then they came, said Naruto in a sad voice. Rei watched Naruto train in a small training ground. She was very impressed that her idol was so strong at her age, his talent was so great. But then she saw something that shocked her to the core. She saw the intruders were none other than Root ANBU. Don't do anything to him, yelled Rei in fear, as she watched the Root ANBU attack Naruto. How could they attack a child with intent to kill? Her despair increased further as she sensed Naruto's fear, and she further watched in shock as Naruto plunged his kunai straight through one of ANBU's hearts. He killed him, thought Rei in shock. She then noticed something that made her realize the first thing which she and Naruto had in common, the Sharingan. They did the same thing to you, didn't they? Asked Naruto sadly. How do you dash? Asked Rei with tears in her eyes. She could never forget that memory. The day when she had accidentally killed one of her caretakers, when he had attacked her. Danzo had forgiven her quickly, but now everything made sense. it was to activate her Sharingan. "I know everything about you," said Naruto seriously. She watched Naruto's meeting with a beautiful woman named Kurenai next, and she felt a little relieved as she saw Kurenai ease Naruto's pain with every passing moment. The next moment, she saw Naruto being surrounded by Root ANBU in the Forest of Death, and they brought him to a base. "He is the son of the fourth Hokage," thought Rei in shock, as she heard Danzo reveal Naruto's truth. Rei completely understood Naruto's feelings as he made a decision to join Root. He was not a bad person, he just wanted to protect his village and family, thought Rei warmly. Then a boy named Konohamaru appeared, and she heard Naruto's happy voice. "This is one of the best moments of my life." A few tears slipped up from Rei's eyes as she watched the heart-warming love between Naruto and Konohamaru. However, she suddenly found herself standing on top of a cliff, and then she saw something. "And this is where I lost my brother," said Naruto in a choked voice. She watched in horror as Shin practically made Naruto kill him, and all of this happened on Danzo's orders. She felt Naruto's pain, his despair, his helplessness, his hands that trembled with Shin's blood. And finally the activation of his Mangekyo Sharingan. "They made me kill my best friend, I killed the one closest to me, I am a murderer," said Naruto sadly. "You are not a murderer, you are not like that, Captain," said Rei with tears in her eyes. Naruto's story broke her heart. Did Danzo really do such horrible things to him? Was everything a lie? "Yes, I am," said Naruto darkly. She watched closely as Danzo told his plans about the coup, and the role Naruto had to play in it. Rei was amazed to know that Naruto was the main player in this coup, a move that Danzo would regret forever. "They took everything from me, so this was my choice. Watch Rei Uchiha," yelled Naruto's voice. Rei watched in horror as she saw Naruto butcher one Root ANBU after another, the blood, the screams, the fear. But she felt his pain when he killed each person, the sadness in his heart, she felt all of it. Naruto's sword cut every person that came in his way, she saw his horrifying blood-soaked body, the murderous look in his eyes. He had turned into a monster that Danzo created for his own personal benefit. "Ah! Stop it, I can't see it," pleaded Rei. Immediately the world around her disappeared, and she found herself standing in the same spot in the Root base. She saw Naruto floating in the air with his Susano, blood was leaking from his eyes, but her Sharingan eyes also saw the tears in his eyes. Rei immediately felt all her strength leave her body, she fell straight on the ground, her Sharingan faded away too, but she never averted his eyes from Naruto. "Why did you do such a thing?" asked Rei with tears in her eyes. Even though Naruto had done injustice, he had no right to commit a massacre. "This is my revenge, Rei, this is the path I chose," said Naruto firmly. "You became the monster they wanted you to be," said Rei loudly. Her entire body had become numb, and she knew unconsciousness was approaching her. Naruto averted his eyes from her. Despite his reasons, he had killed hundreds of people, and that could never be changed. "You are telling me that you butchered every single person in your way, for your revenge only. Many of them had been your friends, your teachers, your comrades, and you killed every one of them. There is something you are not telling me." "But despite all of this," said Rei weakly, "this is what Root and Danzo truly are, they destroy people's lives, and I am putting an end to this madness once and for all." "It ends here," said Naruto firmly. Rei's eyes started to close, and with her last strength she said a few words that her heart wanted her to say, but she didn't know the impact which they had on Naruto. "I forgive you," said Rei tiredly. Her eyes closed as unconsciousness overtook her, but she had learned one thing today, that Naruto Uchiha was not a bad person, but just someone who had a bad life. "I promise, I'll save you from your darkness." These were her last thoughts before she drifted off to sleep. Naruto couldn't believe what he had heard. Did she say what he thought she said? "Kurama, did she truly mean that?" asked Naruto with tears in his eyes. "I sense no false feelings in her words, she meant what she said," said Kurama happily. "Maybe some good did come out of this meeting," now was the time to save Naruto from his madness. Naruto, do you really want to die? You are telling me, you will abandon such a child and let her live her life as you did? Asked Kurama quickly. No, said Naruto hesitantly. Are you that stupid that you would make Kurenai kill you? That woman loves you more than anyone, is that how you repay her back? Would you make her live the rest of her life in despair? Are you that selfish, you fucking coward, yelled Kurama angrily. You don't understand anything said Naruto but was cut off, when he heard Kurama's next words. Shin would be ashamed of you, said Kurama confidently. This was the moment where Naruto's future would be decided. Kurama knew if he failed, then the world would be facing another Madara. He had been trusted by the Sage of Six Paths to help the Child of Prophecy bring peace to this world, and he truly believed it was Naruto. The boy was the only one to accept Kurama as a living being. He accepted him as a friend, despite everything. He wouldn't let a good soul like Naruto fall to the Uchiha's curse of hatred. Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, would save his friend at all costs, even if it was from himself. That's not true, said Naruto in shock. Will his big brother really be ashamed of him? Naruto remembered what he had done to Kurenai in despair. He had not thought about her feelings at all. He had been so selfish and had only thought about his pain. He was truly ashamed of himself, and even Shin would be ashamed too. What have I become? This is not me, I'm not a monster, I'm, thought Naruto slowly. You are Naruto Uchiha of Konoha, and my friend. You are the savior of this world, you are the one who has to bring peace in this world. It was Shin's dream after all, don't you remember? Asked Kurama tactfully. Naruto's eyes widened as he remembered what his best friend's dream was, and what he believed in. It was Naruto's personal dream too. You, are the savior of this world. I just wish I could have seen the peace I desired. Shin's parting words still rang in his ears. He wouldn't let anyone down. He wouldn't make anyone suffer for his mistakes. He would repay everyone for whatever happiness and comfort they gave him. He loved Kurenai. He had made a mistake which he would amend as soon as possible. He would try to be the best father for his daughter. Naruto would fill Rei's life with love. He would give her the best life he could, and apologize for all his mistakes. He was going to save Konoha, and come back alive from Operation Ghost with his friend Sai, no matter what happens. Shin was his inspiration. He had sacrificed his life so Naruto could live. He wouldn't let it go in vain. Ni-san, thought Naruto passionately. Kurama, I had forsaken myself, my friends, Kakashi, Anko, Jiji, Shin, Sai, Tsunade, Konohamaru, Emiko, Kurenai and even Rei. I have fallen so far, I'm ashamed of myself and my actions, said Naruto shamefully. A wide smile came on Kurama's face. He had succeeded. Maybe there was still hope left for this world. Come Naruto, I will help you reclaim yourself, said Kurama proudly. The light in Naruto's eyes reappeared, tears freely flowed from his eyes. He felt happy, he had a purpose, he was the savior of this world. Naruto Uchiha had broken free from the Uchiha's curse of hatred. In a secluded corridor of the root base stood two figures on top of a mud river. One of them had pierced a kunai straight through the other's heart. These two persons were none other than Danzo Shimura and his now ex-subordinate, Sai Satu. Danzo had a calm look on his face. He knew this was the end for the young boy. He was impressed with the way the boy had fought, but it still was not enough to take down a war veteran like him. The only ones who even had a chance of killing him were Hiruzen, the Sannin, Itachi, and Naruto Uchiha. However, Danzo was shell-shocked and the Sai in front of him blasted. It was not a blast of blood but of ink. Asumi Bunshin, thought Danzo in shock. He quickly jumped away from the surface of the mud river, as the remains of the ink clone melted away in the mud. Danzo's right arm was now open and not in his kimono. Even the bandages on his right eye were removed, and the horrible truth was now in the open. He looked around and saw Sai lying flat on the ground. He was panting quite harshly, and some blood was leaking from various parts of his body. All in all, Sai looked like he had been through a meat grinder. Sai was shell-shocked when he saw what was on Danzo's right arm. It had 11 Sharingan on it, its skin was very pale, but its muscles looked far stronger than Danzo's left hand. But more than that, Danzo had a Sharingan in his right eye, and not any normal Sharingan. It was a Mangekyo Sharingan, it was spherical in shape, as the 3 Tomo had connected, and there was a cross right in the center. A Mangekyo Sharingan, what the fuck, thought Sai nervously. Meanwhile Danzo was observing the boy more cautiously now, he had underestimated the young ANBU. Sai was far stronger and smarter than he had imagined. If I had not used my genjutsu, he would have killed me. I just barely casted my illusion and escaped his attack, but he substituted himself with his ink clone in a flash. It seems luck was on his side, thought Danzo calmly. So you had these hidden in your hand, for all these years. You are a freak dickless, said Sai in a disgusted voice. It doesn't matter what you think, I'll tell you what made you betray me, said Danzo dangerously. You stole these Sharingan from the corpses of the Uchiha, you really have no respect for the dead. But whose Mangekyo Sharingan is that? Asked Sai firmly. I don't have to answer that question, you are nothing but a nuisance now, you have lost, said Danzo seriously. Sai used all the energy he had left, and got up from the ground. His muscles were in pain, he was feeling sleepy, but he had to go on, no matter what happened. Not yet, thought Sai with determination. Sai picked up his tanto with his remaining unbroken hand, he was finding it hard to breathe as Danzo's Ki increased. It seemed the commander of Root was finally going to fight with full strength. He then thought about the entire scene, he wanted to know how Danzo escaped from his lethal attack. I was so close to killing him, but it seems he casted a genjutsu on me with the help of his Mangekyo Sharingan, but Naruto's genjutsu prowess is strong. Who in the hell has a Sharingan that can cast genjutsu more powerful than Naruto's, thought Sai frustratingly. He then remembered all the deceased members of the Uchiha clan, they were strong, but their Sharingan paled in comparison to Naruto's. Only a few had more powerful eyes than Naruto, one was Madara Uchiha, but he was killed by the first Hokage, and Sai doubted Danzo could ever find Madara's body. Next was Izuna Uchiha, who was Madara's brother, and Naruto's ancestor. Naruto had told him that he had a Mangekyo Sharingan too, but he was killed even before Konoha was formed, so it couldn't be his eyes either. Itachi Uchiha had a powerful Sharingan, but he was still alive and was missing. Sai ruled it out. Who is it? Who was the most powerful genjutsu user of the Uchiha clan, thought Sai with a frown. His eyes widened in shock, when he realized whose eyes Danzo possessed. Shisui Uchiha, he had committed suicide but no one ever found his body. The most powerful genjutsu master of the Uchiha. His eyes created the most dangerous and strongest genjutsu. You took his eye, didn't you dickless? Asked Sai sharply. Danzo was quite surprised and shocked as well, to think the boy could think and come out with the perfect answer. Even when he was in such a difficult situation, it was astonishing. Sai's level of intelligence, and his analytical abilities were of an ANBU captain. There was no point in hiding it now, it was not going to change anything. He was going to kill Sai anyway. Yes, it is his eye, however. Your assumption about Shisui's Sharingan powers is incomplete, said Danzo mysteriously. What do you mean? Asked Said suspiciously. He had a bad feeling about this. Shisui's Mangekyo is not only the strongest genjutsu casting Sharingan, but it also has one more ability which made him feared in the entire world, explained Danzo briefly. Sai's eyes widened in fear as he realized the meaning behind Danzo's hint. His chances of survival were now very low. Naruto, I need your help, thought Sai worriedly. Yes, it seems you understood. Shisui's Mangekyo not only allows me to cast the most powerful genjutsu of this world, but also gives me one more ability, that is. Danzo was interrupted from his speech when the entire base started shaking, and cracks started appearing in the wall. So it seems he is going to finish it, thought Sai in relief. He had done his job, He had stopped Danzo long enough to allow Naruto to finish route, now he only had to survive until Naruto arrived. And then, they would finish Danzo. The route ANBU shifted a few meters away from the barrier. Their plan had failed as their secret weapon was defeated by Naruto. Fu and Toryun couldn't believe Rei was taken out so easily by Naruto. Danzo had told them she was powerful, but they had underestimated Naruto, and had solely relied on her Mokuton, which Naruto destroyed with his heavenly sword of Susano. They saw Naruto pointing his ice sword towards Rei. Is he going to kill her? Thought Toryun nervously. Not that he cared, but she was an asset of Danzo, and as such was valuable for their cause. Hyero no Jutsu, Ice Dome. The route ANBU watched in surprise, as a dome of ice engulfed Rei's entire body in it. Naruto stared at the remaining root forceps. He was feeling tired. He was quite shocked when he coughed up a lot of blood. Kurama, what is happening? Asked Naruto quickly. Kurama gritted his teeth in anger. The boy's body was badly damaged due to the curse seal, and he didn't want to tell this to Naruto right now. But it seemed the young blonde understood the Biju's silence and the message behind it. How bad is it? Asked Naruto calmly. He had felt that, when the curse seal had activated, he somehow knew, he had taken some serious damage. Sai had prevented Danzo from causing further harm, but it seemed the damage had already been done. The curse seal released a corrupted chakra in your body which is destroying your body from the inside, said Kurama hesitantly. But if I stop using your chakra, it should have stopped this virus from spreading further, argued Naruto. My initial assumption was wrong. The curse seal took power from your mother's poisonous chakra, and when Danzo activated it, you were using my chakra. It not only stopped you from using my chakra, but also spread a poison across your entire body. The flow of chakra in your muscles was 4 times greater than any shinobi at that time, as a result it spread quickly. Even if your friend has stopped Danzo, the damage has already been done, explained Kurama sadly. What's the extent of the damage? Asked Naruto calmly. This virus or poison, whatever you call it, is destroying your body at cellular level. The more you use my chakra, the shorter your life will become. Even if you don't use my chakra, the poison will still kill you, if you don't find a very skilled doctor quickly, said Kurama worriedly. Can't you heal my body like always? Asked Naruto curiously. No, I can only heal minor injuries. This is far more complex. I'm sorry but it is out of my hands, said Kurama apologetically. He really was feeling helpless right now. Naruto took a deep breath. Things were getting difficult for him, but right now he had to finish his mission. We'll talk about this later. Don't worry, I'm not gonna die. I have to look after Rei, you know, said Naruto in a cheerful voice. Naruto, you don't have much time, said Kurama seriously. We'll get through this, and that's a promise, said Naruto firmly. Naruto then cut off the link, and prepared to fight his final battle with the remaining root forces. The Susano's wings flapped wildly, sending a strong gust of wind, which blew away some debris inside the barrier. Naruto nodded to his 4 shadow clones, and they started releasing the barrier. As the purple wall was coming down, the root ANBU shifted several meters away in order to gain distance and prepare for their attack. Hyero no Jutsu, Ice Dome. Naruto pointed his heavenly sword to Rei's direction, and soon a very large dome of ice erupted from the ground and engulfed Rei's entire body in it, and formed a protective barrier in order to stop any attacks. I want all of you to get in Manji formation around this dome. Protect Rei at all costs, ordered Naruto sternly. Hi, said all the 4 shadow clones in unison. The shadow clones quickly took out their swords and got into defensive formation around the ice dome. Naruto knew his ice dome was strong enough to withstand powerful ninjutsu attacks, but still he didn't want to take any risks. And as such had left his shadow clones as additional defense for his daughter, who was currently unconscious and defenseless. The purple wall finally came down, and Naruto shot forward straight towards the root ANBU's forces. Quickly, attack the wings and bring them down, yelled Toryun loudly. Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. All the ANBU launched several shuriken towards Naruto, and performed the ninjutsu. As a result, the few shuriken, now multiplied into hundreds of shuriken that were like a wall and rushed straight towards Naruto's Susano. Some of them even had exploding tags on them. In response, Naruto swung his Hyarinamaru in the air, and a powerful wave of ice was launched straight towards the wall of shuriken. The effect was instantaneous, and all the shuriken were frozen, and as they dropped on the ground they shattered to pieces as they were crystallized by the ice. Sensatsu Sueisho, 1,000 Needles of Death. The Root ANBU watched in shock, as Naruto's Susano released thousands of ice needles that flew in the air, and were now heading towards them quickly. Even the entire sky was covered by the attacks. The speed of the attacks was incredible as the entire frontline comprising half of the remaining Root ANBU forces got hit directly. Fu and Torian watched in horror, as their men started dropping like flies as the ice needles impaled their bodies. Some were hit in the neck, some straight in the heart, some in the head. The sheer magnitude of the attack was such that there were no survivors left. Shit, shit, shit. Attack! Fu and Torian heard some random ANBU yell, and many of their comrades made a banzai charge towards Naruto. The few squads of ANBU jumped high in the air, and performed their attacks. Futon de Tapa, Wind Release, Great Breakthrough Jutsu. Futon Suedo no Tatsumaki, Wind Release, Tornado Tunnel Jutsu. Futon Repushu, Wind Release, Gale Wind Palm Jutsu. Futon Kaze no Yaiba, Wind Release, Wind Sword Jutsu. Futon Kazakiri, Wind Release, Wind Cutter Jutsu. Futon Suresu no Tatsumaki, Wind Release, Slicing Tornado Jutsu. Futon Kaden Shuriken, Wind Release, Rotating Shuriken Jutsu. Futon Ryusegan, Wind Release, Gravity Force Jutsu. Futon Atsugai, Wind Release, Pressure Damage Jutsu. All the Root squads launched their powerful wind attacks in a desperate attempt to cut Naruto's Susano, but their eyes widened in shock as Naruto rushed straight towards them. All the shuriken, wind blades, and various other attacks collided with the Susano and caused a great explosion. The Root ANBU sighed in relief, thinking it was over now. But Naruto quickly shot straight through and collided with the squads of ANBU who had led the banzai charge. The Susano cut through the bodies of Root ANBU like butter. Their bodies were torn in half with blood spilling everywhere. It was a terrifying scene. Both Fu and Torian couldn't believe that not a single crack had occurred on the Susano. It was as if it was made of steel. "Let's finish this," said Naruto seriously. Fu and Torian saw a black energy gathering in Naruto's sword and immediately shouted, to the remaining 40 Root ANBU, defensive walls now. Doton Doryu Hiki, Earth Release, Mud Wall Jutsu. The last of the Root forces poured all the chakra they had left and formed a large mud wall, and soon they heard a loud roar in the base. Kakuryu Bofusetsu, Black Dragon Blizzard. The Root forces along with their two captains ran several meters away, and when they looked back their eyes widened in fear when a black dragon with dark red eyes cut straight through their earth wall, and was now heading towards them. Fu's eyes widened in shock when Torian jumped straight towards the black dragon, and he had several explosive tags strapped on his chest. Torian! Fu's scream echoed in the entire corridor, as Torian was eaten up by the black dragon, but after a second the dragon was blown to pieces as the explosive tags that Torian had triggered off blasted him to pieces along with the dragon. Fu and the remaining ANBU looked at each other. They knew what was coming. They were done for. Their mission was a failure, their comrades were killed, their leader was nowhere to be seen. They had no chakra left, and barely 40 of them were alive. The entire Root ANBU Black Ops were destroyed. The bodies of their now dead comrades was proof of that. "Forgive us, Danzo-sama. We have failed," thought Fu regretfully. Fu couldn't take this anymore. Even though he was a Root captain, he had enough. His comrades were dead, his best friend was dead, and Naruto was preparing his final attack. "This is it," thought Fu tiredly. He gripped his sword tightly. He was a shinobi. If he was going to die, he would go down fighting. He wouldn't die in fear, and let Torian's desperate attempt to save them go to waste. "Men, it has been an honor to fight beside you," said Fu proudly. The Root ANBU took a deep breath. They had been trained for such situations. They were proud shinobi, and warriors of Konoha. All of them gripped their swords tightly and stood side by side with each other in a single line. They took off their masks, and their eyes burned brightly with undying passion. Even in the face of death, their beliefs never broke. "The honor was our Captain Fu and Captain Torian," said all the 40 Root ANBU in unison. A small smile came on Fu's face as his entire life flashed in his mind. It was time for him to lay down his life for Konoha. "Are you with me?" asked Fu firmly. "Till the end, Captain," said all Root ANBU firmly. Fu's charged straight towards Naruto. He could clearly see the black sphere that Naruto had launched at them, for Konoha. The battle cry of the last Root forces rang one last time, as they marched proudly towards their death. Yasaka no Magatama. There was a big explosion that rocked the entire base, walls collapsed, debris flew everywhere, and loud screams could be heard in the base. After a few moments, no voices could be heard. There was pin-drop silence in the entire corridor. There was smoke in the entire corridor, and debris was scattered everywhere, and right in the center of the room was Naruto. He was on his knees, blood was coming out of his mouth and both of his hands were trembling. His Susano had vanished, his vision was blurry and tears of blood ran down from his eyes. Naruto looked at some of the remains of the Root ANBU, their blood, their screams, all of it would forever be wretched in his memory. The sins he had committed could never be washed away. He felt miserable, horrible. He truly felt like a monster now. This was hell, this was the true shinobi world. Kurama didn't say anything. The mission was almost over, but Naruto was already broken. The light in his eyes was now replaced by a cold stoic look. His Sharingan faded away. He looked at his hands that were soaked in the blood of hundreds of people. He had killed his friends, his superiors, his comrades, all of them were dead. Only he was left. His painful scream rang in the entire Root base, and his violent sorrowful sobs would forever be heard in the now destroyed Root base. Kurama couldn't watch the scene that was happening in front of his eyes. Naruto was crying hysterically, his sobs were getting louder with each passing moment, his body was shaking. Everywhere around him was a river of blood, pieces of human flesh were scattered everywhere. The walls were stained in blood, and Naruto was right in the center of this hell. He was broken, his soul was dead, his pain had become unbearable. All around him were bodies of his friends, his comrades, his teachers, they were all dead. Kurama decided he had to help the poor boy, or else he would just kill himself in this much despair. "Naruto, listen to me," said Kurama gently. He didn't get any response. It seemed the boy was not really focusing on his voice. He had to try again. "Naruto, you can get through this. Get up, your friend Sai needs you," said Kurama patiently. Again no response. What was going on here? "Can you hear me?" asked Kurama worriedly. Again, there was no response, and this time Kurama's danger senses started kicking off. Something horrible was going to happen. "Naruto said Kurama, but was cut off as he heard a new voice. "He cannot hear you right now," said a mysterious voice. Kurama's eyes snapped in surprise as a person walked out of the shadows of his cage, but when Kurama saw who this person was, his eyes widened in shock. There stood in front of him, a blonde boy with the same face, same hair, same clothes as Naruto. He looked like his clone. The only difference was it had red eyes that were darker than Kurama's very own. "You," said Kurama angrily. "Long time no see," said the blonde boy cheerfully. Kurama knew this boy. In the past there was an incident when he had worked with him, and had tried to influence Naruto. "After all these years, why have you showed up now?" asked Kurama sternly. The blonde boy pouted on hearing that. He was also making an innocent face, but Kurama knew all of this was fake. The person in front of him was more devious than the Biju himself. And was the worst enemy for Naruto, right now. "I'm hurt, Kyubi-chan, is that how you greet your best friend?" asked the blonde boy in a hurt voice. This seemed to anger Kurama more, as he tried to stab the boy with his claws, but he back-flipped away easily with a smirk on his face. My, you are still hot-headed," said the blonde boy in an amused voice. "Answer me," yelled Kurama angrily. Kurama's angry voice seemed to irritate the blonde boy, as all playfulness vanished from his face, and he looked at the Biju with a mad look in his red eyes. "I came here to finish what we started a few years ago," yelled the blonde boy madly, and started chuckling hysterically. Kurama's eyes widened in shock and fear. This person was none other than Naruto's dark side. Before Kurama and Naruto became friends, the Biju had worked together with this side of Naruto in order to get out of the cage. Dark Naruto had the power to control Naruto's emotions when he was broken, or when he got very angry. The fourth Hokage's seal prevented Kurama from causing any significant influence and damage to Naruto, but it was different in the case of this dark side of Naruto's personality. He was a part of Naruto, formed due to all the negative feelings the real Naruto had to face in his life. Dark Naruto resembled anger, hatred, sorrow, misery, and revenge. He was a part of Naruto. As a result, he was not bound by the fourth Hokage's seal, but his power depended on the will of the real Naruto. If the real Naruto got weak, or if his spirit broke, or when he was very angry, then Dark Naruto could influence him without showing any signs of his presence. Kurama remembered a few years back, he and Dark Naruto had worked together. Naruto had been fighting Sasuke in a spar at the academy, and somehow Sasuke said something that greatly angered the real Naruto. At that time, with Dark Naruto's help, Kurama had tried to take over Naruto's body, but somehow real Naruto's will was strong and he stopped both Kurama and Dark Naruto. Both Kurama and Dark Naruto had their own goals. Kurama wanted to get free from the cage in the past and destroy Konoha, while he did not want to get out now. He still despised Konoha. On the other hand, Dark Naruto was a form of Naruto's hatred. He wanted to take revenge on Konoha for all they did to his real form, all the pain they put him through. He wanted to destroy each and every person in the Hidden Leaf Village, and his dream was very powerful. And this was the moment he was going to strike and have his revenge. The real Naruto was broken and he was going to take advantage of it. "You can't be thinking of," said Kurama in shock. "It is exactly as you think. I will destroy Konoha tonight and everyone in it," said Dark Naruto murderously. "I won't let you harm Naruto," said Kurama angrily. Dark Naruto again chuckled on hearing that the Biju's attempts were pointless now. He had the power now. "You still don't get it, do you?" asked Dark Naruto calmly. Kurama frowned on hearing that question. What did that idiot mean? "This is Naruto's mind, or in other words my mind. I am Naruto's dark side, I am his darkness. For all these years that fool kept me at bay, but now I can have my revenge on Danzo, on Konoha, on you, on everyone," said Dark Naruto with a smirk. "Naruto will stop you again," said Kurama confidently. "Can he?" asked Dark Naruto with narrowed eyes. "What?" asked Kurama in surprise. Why was Dark Naruto so confident this time? Dark Naruto seemed to understand what the Biju was thinking and decided to explain it to the beast. After all, it would be fun to see his shocked face, thought Dark Naruto mischievously. "Don't you get it? Naruto is broken, his soul is dead, his will is finished. The pain of killing his friends, comrades, teachers has killed him, he cannot take it anymore. The only thing left in his heart is sadness and misery," explained Dark Naruto calmly. "What does it matter to you?" asked Kurama firmly. "Everything. My power is his darkness, his pain, his misery, his sadness, his anger, and his hatred. I represent all of it, and right now my power is greater than yours," stated Dark Naruto proudly. "You can't mean?" asked Kurama in shock. They were fucked now. "Yes, I am going to destroy the original Naruto. I will destroy his soul and I will have my revenge," said Dark Naruto with determination. "You dash," said Kurama, but was cut off, as Dark Naruto disappeared. "We are fucked," thought Kurama worriedly. The real Naruto found himself in his mindscape. He was floating on the surface of a river. But it didn't matter anymore, he had enough, he just wanted all of it to end. Why? The real Naruto's painful voice echoes in the dark corridor, where the only sound was of the floating river. The fact that Naruto couldn't see his partner Kurama was alarming, but it seemed he didn't care about anything anymore. "Why did this happen?" asked the real Naruto sadly. Tears freely flowed from his eyes. He couldn't forget all the cries of the men he killed tonight, their screams still rang in his mind. Two small Sharingan eyes appeared in front of the real Naruto, and looked at him sternly. "How will you face this pain?" asked a mysterious voice. Suddenly Naruto found a clone of himself with dark red Sharingan eyes, floating on top of him. The real Naruto just looked at him with his dead eyes, nothing mattered to him anymore. "I don't know," said the real Naruto in a dead voice. "Let me hear your answer," said Dark Naruto again, his Sharingan bore into the real Naruto's dead eyes. But the real Naruto didn't answer, and more tears flowed from his eyes. "It hurts," said Naruto in a choked voice. "What hurts?" asked Dark Naruto with a smirk. Things were going according to his plan. "I can't take it anymore, I don't know what I'm supposed to do," said the real Naruto in a depressed voice. "Let's make the world feel pain," said Dark Naruto firmly. "I don't care about anything anymore, I killed all of them, their screams, get it out of my head," pleaded the real Naruto. "Love gives birth to sacrifice, which brings forth hatred and lets you know pain," said Dark Naruto seriously. Dark Naruto's Sharingan started to swirl and were now looking clearly in the real Naruto's eyes. "Remember your pain, remember your hatred," said Dark Naruto loudly. Dark Naruto's Sharingan changed into the Mangekyo state, Tsukiyomi. He then flashed Naruto's entire life in front of him, the hatred of the villagers, his first kills. But the worst thing he did was make the real Naruto watch how he killed Shin again and again. "Stop it," screamed the real Naruto in agony. "Only 71 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds more to go, this is the beginning of your suffering," said Dark Naruto sadistically. Naruto's painful screams would echo in the entire mindscape continuously. Kurama didn't know what was going on, he was yelling at the top of his lungs, but no answer was coming from Naruto. He was just sitting in the same place in the base, but it seemed as if his consciousness was not there. Biju's eyes widened in shock as he remembered Dark Naruto's words. "Everything, my power is his darkness, his pain, his misery, his sadness, his anger, and his hatred. I represent all of it, and right now my power is greater than yours." Kurama understood what was going on. It seemed Dark Naruto had taken his original form in an alternate mindscape, and only Kami knew what he was doing with him. "The end has begun," thought Kurama worriedly. "Stop!" the real Naruto screamed in horror and pain, as Dark Naruto had made him watch for the 1000th time how he killed Shin, and the entire root ANBU forces. He had tortured him continuously for three days. "Somebody help me," yelled Naruto in pain, as he watched Shin getting stabbed by his sword again. "Destroy everything, kill those who've brought you pain," said Dark Naruto madly, and made the real Naruto watch the massacre again. "I," said Naruto but couldn't speak further, as his sobs blocked any further voice from coming out of his mouth. "Entrust me with your soul, I'll save you from your suffering if you do," said Dark Naruto with a smirk. The real Naruto nodded tiredly and soon his shirt was ripped apart and a seal formed on his stomach. "That's it, go on," said Dark Naruto happily, it was finally his time. The real Naruto's eyes changed to complete red, and his body started floating towards the Dark Naruto. "Embrace me, brother," yelled Dark Naruto madly. Both of Naruto's bodies connected and there was a large explosion in the mindscape. "Yes, no pain." Kurama's eyes widened in shock, as he felt a massive amount of his chakra being taken away from him. Suddenly two figures appeared several feet away from his cage, and Kurama couldn't believe what he was seeing. The dark Naruto had embraced the real Naruto, and both of their eyes were of the same color now. "I'm finally free, Kyubi," said dark Naruto. "Balls," screamed Kurama. The ANBU commander's eyes widened in fear as he saw a blast of a very familiar red chakra, cut straight through the sky. The barrier which he had formed prevented anybody who was inside to get out, and also did not allow any sound to be heard. But the thing which he was seeing terrified him. A ray of red chakra was leaking from a far end of the root base, and the ANBU commander's eyes widened in shock when a mark appeared on his hand. His fears were true, and all hell was gonna break loose now. "Clones, hold the barrier as long as possible. It's an order not to let the barrier down or Konoha is finished," yelled the ANBU commander loudly. "Hi Captain, what are you going to do?" asked all the clones together, even though they knew what bloody situation they were in now. The ANBU commander looked at the kanji showing the word 5 on his hand, and he steeled himself. "I'm going in." Sai dodged another strike from Danzo and backflipped a few meters away. He had been doing this for a few moments, and he just wanted Naruto to come. But suddenly both he and Danzo felt a blast of malicious chakra in the entire base. Suddenly loud footsteps approached their position at lightning speed. Bang! 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 Boom! The entire wall of the corridor was blown to dust as a figure approached from the shadows. Sai collapsed flat on the ground. The Ki was out of this world. He had not felt and seen such a foul chakra in his entire life. Danzo meanwhile knew what this thing was, and a bead of sweat rolled off his head. The memories of the incident 15 years ago flashed through his mind, and a shiver ran down his spine as he remembered the horrible night. It seemed history was going to repeat itself after 15 years again. Danzo slowly turned around, in order to face his opponent, and some fear rose in his body as he watched the terrifying creature that was in front of him. "Do you hate me?" asked Danzo calmly. He somehow was trying to control his nerves, but this chakra was making him shake in fear. There stood in front of him a middle-sized fox-looking human. His entire body was covered in red chakra, and no skin was visible at all. His eyes were now of a monster, his teeth had become canine, and his nails had turned into large claws. But the most terrifying thing was the 5 tails on his back that were floating murderously. "I'm gonna kill you," yelled the creature. The fight for Konoha survival had just begun. Danzo stared at the creature in front of him. It seemed Naruto had gone into some primary Jinchuriki form, but it was not perfect. "I'm gonna kill you," yelled the creature. Sai's eyes widened in horror as he saw what his friend had become. Using Kyubi's chakra in such a raw manner would destroy Naruto's body. He had to stop it. Sai immediately took out a seal. For once he was thankful to Danzo for teaching him this fuinjutsu. This was a technique to abruptly stop the flow of a tailed beast chakra into the Jinchuriki's chakra network for a few minutes. This would help in subduing the Jinchuriki, and prevent the escape of the tailed beast. But he had to do it now, or else this seal would not work if Naruto's tail increased to more than 6. Sai then suddenly remembered something that made his eyes widen in fear. Danzo had the upper hand here. If he somehow puts Naruto in a genjutsu with his Mangekyo Sharingan, then he can easily destroy the Hokage's forces. He won't need the root ANBU. With this much power Naruto can easily destroy half of Konoha, thought Sai worriedly. He looked at his body. He was wounded, and in such a big fight he couldn't do anything. His friend had clearly lost his soul in despair, and Sai couldn't blame Naruto for this. Even Sai himself was feeling horrible after killing the root ANBU, their screams, the blood. He could never forget this nightmare. And Naruto had endured far more than him, and it seemed he was broken now. They were shinobi, they were ANBU, the best Black Ops soldiers of Konoha. But, even they were human. Nobody understood that he and Naruto were just young kids, fight after fight, death after death. Watching everyone around you die in front of you, killing people who they once called comrades. Why did this have to happen? This pain, this guilt was unbearable. And looking at his friend, brought tears in Sai's eyes. He had to stop him, he would save Naruto. After all, he was the only friend Sai had left in this world. Sai immediately took out a small sealing scroll and unsealed it on the ground. He took out a small brush from his pouch and ink from his pants. I cannot charge head-on, I would never be able to reach him without someone holding him steady. I have to perform this jutsu so I can stop him, thought Sai tactically. He started drawing something on the seal, in order to implement his strategy. Meanwhile, Danzo stared at his opponent. He had to be very careful from now on. One mistake could prove to be very costly. I need some time in order to fully cast Kodo Amatsukami on him. Until then I need to maintain distance and avoid his attacks, thought Danzo calmly. Danzo's Mangekyo Sharingan started rotating and immediately he flashed several meters away. It was as if he had just used a teleportation technique. It was no ordinary Shunsen, because its speed was very great. He immediately performed a set of hand seals quickly. Futon Kazakiri no Jutsu, Wind Release, Wind Cutter Jutsu. Several blades of winds cut clean through Naruto's body, but to Danzo's surprise all the external wounds that would have killed any other normal human, were healed in an instant. Danzo quickly jumped in the air as a few tendrils of Kyuubi's chakra emerged from the ground in order to slice him in half. But he was shocked when he looked up and saw Naruto's fox form standing on the ceiling and looking at him murderously. So fast, thought Danzo. Naruto jumped straight towards Danzo in order to crush him, but again Danzo's Mangekyo flared and he disappeared in the air and landed a few meters away. Naruto crashed straight into the ground as he could not hit Danzo. Your power is great, but if you cannot control it you are useless, said Danzo harshly. This seemed to anger his opponent as he launched a powerful shock wave from his mouth that sent Danzo crashing into the wall. My balls, thought Danzo with a groan, the impact really was nasty. Futon Suresu no Tatsumaki, Wind Release, Slicing Tornado Jutsu. Danzo released a powerful blast of wind from his mouth that slowly shaped into a tornado and was heading towards Naruto at high speed. The fiery wind tornado engulfed Naruto in it, and continuously swirled wildly around him for a few minutes. But Danzo's eyes widened in shock when several large fireballs laced with Kyuubi chakra were fired at great speed towards him. Shit, I have to use it, thought Danzo hurriedly. The fireballs blasted Danzo to oblivion, as Naruto emerged from the wind tornado unharmed. But something had started to form on his back, and it appeared to be another tail. Danzo appeared in another position, which seemed to shock Sai as he just saw Naruto kill Danzo. But then he saw something that made him understand what had happened. The 11 Sharingan that were on Danzo's arm had now reduced to 10, as one of the eyes had shut down. So he is using some genjutsu of the Uchiha, but is it a genjutsu or something else? Whatever it may be, it allows him to somehow escape death itself. If my assumption is right, and if Naruto can destroy all the 10 Sharingan then Danzo will be killed, thought Sai smartly. But before he could think of any other strategy his eyes widened in shock, as he watched the 6th tail had started to form, shit, thought Sai alarmingly. His hands worked like a blur and soon he poured all of his chakra in his last jutsu. Choju Giga, Super Beast imitating drawing. Sai released a very large ink tiger from his seal, which charged straight towards Naruto and quickly caught him with his mouth. Now, thought Sai quickly. He then quickly jumped in the air, and took out the small seal which had the kanji, suppress, written on it. He had to be precise, and hit it exactly on Naruto's chest in order to stop the Kyuubi's chakra. The seal would stop the flow of Kyuubi chakra, by directly affecting the chakra network. Almost there, thought Sai nervously, as he was just about an inch away from Naruto. But suddenly Naruto's fox form roared and sent Sai crashing into the wall. The shock wave was so powerful that many of Sai's bones broke instantly on impact. Blood leaked from all over his body, even his head was badly injured. He watched with blurry eyes, as Naruto destroyed that ink tiger that was holding him with his tails. Sai felt tired, he knew his body could not take it anymore, his injuries were severe. He sadly watched as Danzo again impaled several wind shuriken straight in Naruto's heart, and his friend's roar broke his heart. He truly felt despair. The fact that the sixth-tailed was about to be formed signified that they had lost. Why am I just watching him getting hurt? Thought Sai tiredly. He tried to stand up, but more blood leaked from his body, and with a sickening crunch he fell down again. Why can't I move? Thought said sadly. Yelled Naruto in anger. Naruto. Thought Sai, as he remembered something. Flashback, 5 years ago. Sai was sitting on top of a mountain. He had just finished his training and was now watching the sun setting peacefully in the sky. Sai. Sai. Sai heard his name being called. He looked to his right and saw his friend heading towards him. Naruto had a cheerful smile on his face that made Sai chuckle. Shin and Naruto were the only family he had in this world. These two really looked after him en route, and encouraged him to fulfill his dreams. Moron, thought Sai amusedly, as Naruto tripped over a stone and fell flat on the ground. Naruto just gave him a sheepish smile, and dusted off the dirt from his uniform. He then hurriedly ran towards him, and sat beside him at the edge of the mountain. What's wrong, Naruto? Asked Sai calmly. Naruto got a small excited smile on his face, and he took out a small book from his pocket. Shinniken was hiding this, said Naruto in a mischievous tone. Sai looked at the book closely and saw it had the title, The Tale of a Gutsy Ninja. He frowned a little as he didn't like to take someone's personal thing without their permission. Naruto, you should not take things from Shinniken without his permission, said Sai strictly. Naruto just poured on hearing that, and gave Sai a defying look. Yes, mother, now can I say something before Shinniken finds me and kills me for taking his book, said Naruto sarcastically. Sai just gave a tired sigh. His friend really was stubborn. What is this book? Asked Sai patiently. It is a book about a peaceful shinobi world, said Naruto excitedly. A peaceful shinobi world? Asked Sai in surprise. Never in his entire life had he heard of such a thing. There were books on ninja wars, villages, porn, but not one like this. Yes, it seems Shinniken really likes this book, as he was hiding it from the officers, said Naruto with a smirk. Naruto, we are not supposed to have any personal belongings. The officers will give all of us detention if they find out about this, warned Sai. Forget all that. This book says that all the shinobi nations fought wars for decades, but one day, they all united, said Naruto happily. United? Asked Sai in shock. Hi, a hero named Naruto brought peace to the world, by joining all the villages and made one big nation, said Naruto proudly. Sai started laughing loudly on hearing that, which made Naruto frown. No way, a dumbass named Naruto can bring peace, said Sai playfully. Naruto gave Sai a large bonk on the head, and looked at him with determination. We can do it too, you, Shinniken and me, all of us together would bring peace to this world, said Naruto with determination. Sai's eyes softened on hearing that. Unlike Shin and Naruto, he didn't think peace was possible, but both of his friends believed in that dream, so he believed in their dream too, as they were his closest friends. Is that so? Asked Sai with a small smile. And there's more too in this book, flaming water, frozen earth, so many different people living together, it even has a snow country in it like in our world. I'm sure such a world is more beautiful than the one we live in, said Naruto excitedly. A peaceful world, huh? Said Sai in wonder. Naruto looked at him with an innocent smile on his face. This is a secret between us, okay? We will surprise Shinniken by achieving this dream, said Naruto proudly. Sai gave a nod, showing he accepted the promise. Maybe they really could make such a world. Hey, Sai, wouldn't it be great if we could live in a happy, peaceful world someday? Flashback end. Sai's eyes hardened as he remembered the promise he had made to Naruto when they were kids. He knew what he had to do. With my current level of chakra, and these injuries, there is no way my body could survive another attack. If I try to move, my life will, thought Sai calmly. He gripped the seal tightly in his hands, and measured the distance between him and Naruto. It seemed Danzo was preparing his attack, as he was just trying to dodge Naruto's wild attacks. In order to save Konoha and Naruto, this is my best shot, thought Sai firmly. With great effort, he slowly got up from the ground. More blood leaked from his body, and his broken bones were causing him more pain. He sent all of his remaining chakra to his feet and rushed towards Naruto with all his strength. Naruto sent another shockwave which sent Danzo crashing into the wall again, but then he sensed an attack from behind. He acted on his instincts and quickly turned around, but it was too late. He felt something hit his heart, and suddenly his power started decreasing. Naruto's face emerged from the red skin. As the Kyuubi chakra started receding, he saw a small seal on his chest that was stopping the chakra. But he suddenly felt blood dropping on his face. He looked up, and his eyes widened in horror as he saw one of his tails had cut clean through Sai's left chest. Not again, thought Naruto in panic. The tail vanished too, as Sai fell towards him. Naruto immediately caught his friend as the rest of the Kyuubi chakra disappeared too. Naruto's dark red eyes slowly started changing, and were now turning blue again. No, we should have our revenge, yelled Dark Naruto angrily. Shut up, roared Naruto ferociously, his mindscape again changed to Kurama's sewer. This isn't over, we will meet again, said Dark Naruto bitterly. Kurama suddenly found Dark Naruto disappearing from the mindscape. It seemed Sai had brought the real Naruto back again. But the cost? Sai, said Naruto worriedly, as he tried to stop the flow of blood from his chest. Don't lose yourself in hatred, said Sai weakly. His vision was blurry and he knew this was it. Hang in there, I'll get you out of here, said Naruto with tears in his eyes. All of this, Naruto suddenly felt history repeating itself again. One of his best friends was again dying because of him. He would not let that happen. Sai grabbed Naruto's shoulders gently and looked at him. You told me about a peaceful world, so, don't let your dream die, said Sai tiredly. His hands fell limp to the side, and his eyes slowly closed. The last thing he saw was a wide-eyed Naruto, who had tears falling from his eyes. Sai, yelled Naruto in agony. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time. Later.